Hi, everybody. So good to see you. Thanks for coming in live and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Tell me in the comments where you are watching this from. I know there's a ton of you watching this from everywhere in the world, and I am coming to you live today on a Thursday morning in Auckland, New Zealand. So yes, let me know in the comments if you're watching this live, if you are watching this from somewhere else, if you're watching this in replay later on, tell me in the comments. I'd love to know. And yes, someone's from coming. Aaron's watching from Iowa. Wow, Laurel, Maryland. So you guys, if you can give StreamYard the permission so I can just see it as a Facebook user. So I can see who's watching, and awesome, I am here live. Yes, perfect. Awesome. What time is it? I guess it's evening for those of you in the US, and those of you in the UK and Europe, it'll be quite late evening. So I'll be surprised. I know that a couple of people who are going to join in live when it's really late. So thank you for being here. And yes, I know some of you who are new to me, and a lot of you who are actually have watched a couple of my trainings, maybe 2, 3 or more, I have no idea. So drop 1 in the comments if you have watched any of my trainings before and this is not your first time. Cool. Hi, Nicole. Hi, it's 3 p.m. Okay, cool. That's a great time. I guess that would be Pacific time. Good morning. Yeah, hi. I can see you, Nicole. So, Tenerife, Canary Island. Wow, 9 a.m. in Newcastle. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, it's a perfect time. It's early in this part of the world, in Australia, New Zealand. So, yes, let's get started. Today, I'm sharing with you how you can get to sign more clients and what my client did to get to 20K months from 1.6K month. I think she was at 1.6, about 2, somewhere around there. So if I know a few of you have watched this before, and you are so used to my tons of slides I mentioned before, tons of slides in my previous masterclasses or training. So today it's going to be a little bit different. The reason is this is going to be a lot less slides. The reason is I'm going to focus on really, get laser focus on the lead gen. And the reason why this is so that this is session is go deeper than all the other ones before. So all the other sessions I've done, all the other master classes I've done, I go on the high level, covering everything, but you have knowledge, right? So which is great. But today is a bit different. The goal today is to help you to get the most value out of this masterclass today. And also the goal today is help you to start thinking differently, right? To think about how you get leads and sales, right? Everything starts with your awareness, how you think, and what the actions you're gonna take. Okay, so I am gonna okay, cool. Good morning, Christine. Hi, nice to see you, Christine. Right, so this starts with, I'm gonna tell you how when I got started. I was taught how to get clients, right? And how I was taught to get clients. So business was going okay, right? Everything was going well. I was getting clients, but they were very inconsistent, right? They were like, I call it feast or famine. Some months they're really, really good, and then some months are really, really not good at all. So at that time, I did a couple of courses to learn how to get sales. And I remember this time, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, I was in a program that was a 12 months program about how to get sales, because I was like, okay, cool, I know what I need to be doing and I need to get better at doing sales. So that program that I did, it was over 12 months. And every day, I think every week, there was like one session or call. It was like 2 hours. But what happened in that session was, in those sessions, not just one session, in the whole program, it was all about mindset and self-mastery, which is great. Which I signed up for sales, a program to learn about getting sales and getting leads. But I ended up getting a program all about mindset, even though I know mindset is really good. It's really, really important in everything that you do. And same as self-mastery. But none of that, right? So I was like, okay, cool, right? What do I need to do? Right? I need to get my mindset up, work on that, work on that. But then none of that gave me clear, actionable strategy to get leads, to get clients. So I was doing this call after call, week after week, and it was still unclear, right? So, and then I was told to do get 100 free calls with people, do 5 days challenge, and it was like 5 days challenge after challenge and live streaming and all that. Like, and then I was told as well to like embody my highest level self, right? Even I don't really know exactly what that means. I kind of know now, but back then I don't know. So the thing is, like I say, mindset is super important, right? But the thing is, when you so focus on that, I call this, you end up gaslighting yourself, right? So you keep thinking, my mindset is crap. My mindset is not where it needs to be. Instead of focusing on what to do, I was focusing on all the things I was doing wrong, right? What happens when you do that? You don't do anything. You focus on like, I need to fix this problem. I need to, go through this. I need to work on my mindset. I need to journal, right? So, but then I still didn't have a clear plan after going through these courses. And then after that, I didn't stop. I thought, okay, not the right program for me. Fine. I went on and moved on and invested something and keep investing and testing things my way. Because I'm like, okay, I do learn a few things, but I'm like, let's test it up. So share me in the comments. Tell me if you guys have been there. Who feels like that, right? So you have been maybe, maybe you have been so busy working your mindset, working on, your website, right? Doing everything, but you don't have a clear plan. That was me. I was doing all kinds of things. I was servicing clients. I was, working on, making all the templates really nice, graphics really nice and all. So that was not what I needed, right? I thought that was what I needed. So who else feels to say, what have you done, right? What have you done? Who feels like that you have been busy with all kinds of things, but you're not sure what are the things that you should be focused on, right? Yes, Aaron says, yes, a lot of work, mindset, invested, and have nothing really shifted my business. Is that right? So this is so true for so many people. This is why I want to do this for you guys, that you come in and really understand why this is happening to you, and like me, stop gaslighting yourself, right? That to know that, okay, cool, I have this weakness, but I'm not going to sit on that weakness. I'm just going to move on, right? I'm going to have a plan. Teresa said, yes, yeah. Yes, I'm a lot, but nothing consistently. Yes, there's a consistency. So it was because I was like focusing on this, focusing on that, nothing was consistent, nothing was clear, right? I was everywhere, right? So, so yeah, I'm going. So I was everywhere, but I have no understanding what to focus on, right? So I'll share with screen with you guys. Like I say, it's gonna be uh, minimal slides today. So, like you guys, like me, in the past, like my clients, right? We are any one of you here, just every you're probably sitting on 20, 30 of K of sales right now, right? You're busy looking for them. You think you don't have enough sales. You think you don't have enough clients, but chances are you might be actually sitting on all these sales right now, right? This is the reason why I'm going to share with you why this is, right? Cool. So yes, Aaron said, yes, it can be defeating. Exactly, right? When you have nowhere to know, right? When you like focus on all your weakness, right? My mindset, I don't have enough confidence, right? Blah, blah, blah. You know what gets confidence? What I learned, action gets you confidence, right? The more you do, the more confident you get, right? You may not, the more you do, the more you fail, the more confident you get because you're like, what? So, okay, cool, this doesn't work. Let's move on, right? Or this work, let's do more of that, right? So you keep moving, and moving. That's what gets you confident. And the mindset, yes, you constantly have to work with it, but sitting there just focusing on it, it's not gonna go anywhere. So you are probably, like most people, sitting on 20, 30K of sales right now. I'm going to tell you why, right? So why you're not hitting your income goals yet, right? I don't like the word that I'm not hitting my goals. I am this, I am that. These are very, very strong sentences. And I just use yet, right? Why? Okay. Or you're making it harder than it needs to be. You're making it longer, take more time than it needs to hit your income goals, whether it's your first 100K, maybe your next 100K, or doubling your income, or even getting to your first 7K, whatever. Okay, the first thing is that the most common thing I've seen is not having a lead gen strategy system. I'll explain that in more detail. Is not having a lead gen strategy system, which is why you guys say, who else have bought a program after a program but have no clear action to get clients? Put in the comments, share, let me know. The other thing is having low quality sales, like low quality leads or not enough leads, right? And then the third thing is a leaky sales process. That's what I call it. It's like a leaking bucket, right? You put all the water in there, it just keeps leaking. You keep filling it with water, and it keeps leaking, right? So that comes from when you don't have a good, solid gen strategy system. You don't have a system, and if you have a good bucket, solid, right? You fill it with water, and it just keeps filling up, and it catch all the clean water, and you have enough water, right? But make sure that you don't have a leaky sales process, that when your bucket, if you don't have one, bucket's just going to keep leaking water, right? So let's go back to number one, okay? So when you have a lead gen system, right? You have a system to know, what to focus every day on your business to get leads and sales, right? So that a lot of people go into groups, chat, spend a ton of time in the groups, or get on chats with people with no strategy, right? They post with no strategy how to get sales. Or they do, like I said before, what I used to do with a ton of people are still doing, right? Like you get so busy, going on Canva, fixing your website, writing the content on your sales pages. I don't have sales pages. Most of my clients, a lot of my clients selling really high ticket packages without a sales page. Not to say they don't work, but there are other things that could be faster, right? Because someone say, yep, that's me. Yep, that's me, no lead gen really. Okay, cool, that's all. So I want you guys to start realizing that and telling yourself that, hey, it's not your mindset, it's not all that other things, it's not that that's holding you back. You need this, right? So like, and then a lot of people, they don't have that. They're just busy working in their business, working with creating content and creating modules before they even sell them, and servicing clients. This is really important. I know that it's important when we have clients, we need to service them, but we have to also know that we need to start getting more sales, getting more leads, so that we continue to have clients and that we are performing at our highest level to service our clients. The next thing, right? You bet low quality leads or not enough leads. So my philosophy is you're better off having 5 high quality leads at any time than 50 bad leads, right? Because if 5 or 10, right, good quality leads. And what are good leads? Good leads are people who know about you and they're aware of their problems. I've done a training on that they're aware of their problems, so they are fans, not haters, right? Because when you talk to someone who don't know that they have a problem, none of your messaging will apply to them. None of the messaging will stick to them, right? Because they don't know how they have that problem. They don't understand how important it is to fix that problem. So good leads, right? They're aware of their problem. They're ready to go. They're very excited, and they are warm. They have seen a couple of your trainings. They have been around your in your presence, in your world for a while. So these are good leads. So it's better to have 5 good leads than 50 or 100 bad leads, right? So I'll tell you a story of I want to how my client, that she was a single mom. She is still a single mom. She had tons of clients, and not say tons. She had clients, right? So they would like come on and off. They would come in and they go away. They come in, they go away, right? But then she was undercharging because these clients are really low quality, and she was like, she'd get low quality clients and she undercharged because they were like, oh my god, that's too much. $1,000 for this? This is too much, right? She was doing tons of work. Being a single mom is not easy. Being a mom, it's not easy, much less a single mom, right? So she was doing networking, she was doing everything. She was so exhausted because she was getting leads, and she was selling packages that were, I think, $1,000, about $750. That I look at it and I'm like, this should easily be $3,000 or at least $2,000, or anywhere between 2 to 5K easily. And she was like, tons of value in those packages that she was selling, right? And then tell me in the comments that you think, right? I want to I'm just really curious, that you think you have low quality leads, or that you have not enough leads, or maybe you have a leaky sales system, right? Share me in the comments. So someone say, yes, that's me, no lead gen, really. Yeah. Agree. Most don't know their problems. Okay, so if your leads don't know that they have a problem, those are not who you should be focusing on. So one thing I've learned, okay, is to not convince people to work with you, right? And not spend a whole lot of time. Just move on, right? These are not your people. Don't talk to people who are gonna hate. I call them the haters, right? Where some of this content that people post, like 10 things to do, 10 things why you need a coach, 10 reasons why you need a coach now, 10 reasons why you need this, that, right? That's speaking to haters because they don't know they have a problem. So yeah. So Aaron say, not many leads. It's been such a challenge after my experience this year. Okay. Curious what experience. Don't have to share it. Okay. Nadine say a bit of all of it. Yeah. This is very, very common, right? And even if you hit your first, if you're 100K, right? Doing any one of this, right? Tweaking any one of these will actually change your business dramatically, right? Even if you do one thing, if you just fix one of these 3. So someone say, I think leaky sales leads and also low quality. Yeah. So it is like that, right? If you have a leaky sales process, you start leaking, right? Even though they are low quality. I mean, if they're low quality, maybe they're not maybe not warm enough to buy from you. But if you're leaking them, then it keeps harder, right? You keep have to filling them and filling it and filling it. The bucket is never full, right? So this is cool. Let me see. Okay, yes, that is my standard. I won't convince exactly, right? And then Aaron say, okay. Oh wow, this is left me worse than Minnesota. Sometimes okay. So a lot of you guys do have one or two or this. So next, the third thing, right? Now that let's get on to the leaky sales process and why you're not. So a leaky, or I call it a leaky sales process, or a very it comes with first of all, it's from a very weak follow-up process. A lot of people don't know that this is something that I've learned and has always been very useful for me, right? Time and time again. 75% of sales comes from following up, right? Following up people. And a lot of times we lack that follow-up. And I do that as well. I might still be doing that. So we're never perfect. The goal is to get better at this, right? We're all busy, right? So instead of focusing on doing your website, focusing on journaling and doing all this, right? I want you to start focusing on follow-ups, right? Or people who say that they don't know how to reactivate warm leads, or not know how to have DM conversations that leads to somewhere. Right? A lot of people they're very afraid of doing DMs, right? The thing is, because we have been taught the wrong way, or someone have been taught doing it the wrong way, and we get them in our DMs, like tons of cold DMs where we're like, ugh, yuck, right? There's like very awkward. Or in the past, like a lot of people, they will start having conversations, and then those conversations leads to nowhere. It becomes pushy or becomes really awkward, right? So they feel like, oh, okay, that was not good. I was wasted all the time. It leads to nowhere. I just don't feel good about doing the DM sales in the DM. Share me in the comments. How do you guys feel from a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of selling the DMs? How confident are you? Let me know in the comments. Right? So let's get on to, okay, share me in the comments. How do you feel about DMs? Whether selling the DMs or being sold on the DMs, right? I guess most of you will probably tell me that, like you feel 5, 3, 3, if 1 is low. Okay, 1 is low, 10 is really high. So whatever that is, right? So 5, middle, cool. A lot of people are 5. I guess almost, I guess it's very hard to be a 10, right? So even if you get from, let's say, a 3 to a 5, or a 5 to a 6 or 7, that's a huge improvement. So I'll share that with you. So if anything, I don't ever, I have a couple of my clients in here right now, ever tell my clients to do cold DMs. Okay. So around 6 for Nicole. And then Nadine say maybe a 6. Yes, I find I have people are more like, I can't afford it. Yeah. So okay. So these are the people that I call them not haters, but they're not your people, right? They're not ready to take action. So let's get into what a lead gen plan looks like. Right? Let's get into that. Okay, cool. We'll go back on the DMs and later on. So let me know if you can see my screen. If these the wordings are big enough, I can see all the numbers and wordings. If it's clear, it looks really clear to me. Okay, so what I said before, right? You need to have a lead strategy to fill your funnel, to fill your pipeline. Because like your pipeline, so that you always have a system where you can tap into it and you're like, okay, cool. I need 5 clients next month, and I know where they are. They're sitting here, right? They're already warmed up. So you have that, right? So or you know that they're sitting in your DMs, right? They're people who are like asking about your offers, about your programs, whatever your events, whatever that is that you are selling. So what this looks like, this helps you to focus on what most important thing, to start doing the things that you need to do. you need to start to know what not to do. Okay, I will share that with you in a second, in a few seconds. But let's get onto this. Right, this is what happens if you have a lead gen plan. You plan out your year. This is an example. If you plan out your year, that hey, I call this strategic hustle, where let's say in February, you have to do all that, that lead gen in February, right? You do heavy loading, right? I'll explain why that is. You do some lead gen, a lot of lead gen here, or if you have campaigns and then you taper off, this is why, and then you go back to it. So you have a clear plan. You're like, okay, I know what to do in February, I know what to do in March, and all the way to July, right? So, and a simple calculation here is that, okay, if you have one, this is a numbers game, right? If you have one lead a day over 12 months, right? 30 days a month, and over 12 months, that will be 360. And let's say that only 10% of these people will buy your programs, and that let's say your program is $2,000, right? The industry average is about, I think, 20%. And then you, of course, over time, you need to try to get better at the conversion rate, right? From 10% to maybe 20, 30, 50, whatever that is, right? So let's say you get one lead a day over 12 months, and after 12 months, you end up, that will be $72,000 if you're generating leads every day. So $70,000, it's like, if for someone who doesn't have a lot of clients, it's good, right? It pays bills. If you're at maybe 50K, that extra 70,000 will put you past 100K. And then if you have two, it would be 144. And then if you get 10 leads a day over 12 months, it'll be 10 times of that, right? So it's just all a numbers game. And this is why having a plan, having a system is so important. It takes away all less game. You can come back to the numbers. You're like, okay, if I'm going to want this number, if I want to hit 144, what I should be doing, right? So give you a clear plan on how to do this and how to tackle, and then work backwards, knowing what to focus and what not to do, and you can track it along. And we also have, I call a sales cycle in my, what I do with my clients in my one-on-one program. I started doing that, and that has really helped as well. I'll talk about that more in details later. So, so look at these numbers. What do you guys feel about these numbers? Do these numbers feel reasonable? Right? Does it feel like it's really hard to just focus on 1 month? So what it means, right, that you can focus, let's say, that you need to work a bit harder, get the volume numbers in Feb, and then you can taper off in March and just service clients and do the things, or maybe take some holiday off, take some time off, right? And then go back. So what it does is it lets you rest, right? It lets you go back to doing things that you enjoy, right? Not everyone likes marketing, maybe not, right? If you don't, at least you know that I don't have to do it like all the time. I can rest, right? The thing is, the more you do this, the more times that you do something, the better you are at it, right? So the more you do, the better you are. So you actually enjoy doing it over time. After a while, you really enjoy it. And what that also means that what used to take you more time to do is going to take you less time. So increase in your volume, right, of how much you do will decrease the amount of time that you spend doing it, and increase in the results, right? So let's go on to the most common lead gen mistakes that a lot of people are making. right? So the first thing, a lot of people don't make lead gen a priority, right? They're overwhelmed by lead gen, or sometimes you're overwhelmed. You're like, oh my God, there's so many things I can do. Well, like post on my blog, on my website, get on calls with people, go on public speaking, go networking, tons of things to do. You know what happens? We do nothing because we're overwhelmed, right? When the brain is overwhelmed, they decide it's like keeping you safe, not to do anything. Or because we're the perfection syndrome, where everyone thinks to be perfect. Oh, this is not looking good, I'm not launching it. My course, I'm working on my modules, I'm recording all these videos, they're not good. I'm not going to start selling it, right? Or shiny objects, right? One moment you're like, okay, Clubhouse is hot, everyone goes and do Clubhouse, right? And overthinking, right? It leads to overthinking. You just like, you do this, you do that everywhere, right? And to a lot of people, it's like using ads too early. I know that a lot of people have been burned by running ads before they're ready, and maybe they're 10K months, and then they have to spend 8K on ads. And what happens is you don't have a solid lead generation system. All the ads that comes in, when you run ads, it's just going to amplify the problem, the leaky process that you have. If your messaging is not on point, it's just going to amplify all of that. It's going to be worse and you'll be more stressed because you're actually paying for this traffic, right? The other thing is not having a strategy and sales process to get consistent leads, or not understanding how your people buy, not understanding their buyer psychology, which is something I'm going to touch, and not knowing who your ideal clients are and how to talk to them. And the other thing is not having enough eyes on your offer. I call this forget to send invites. It's like having a party, but forgetting to send the invites out. Like I mentioned before, my client who was really busy in her business, selling her 1K packages, and some of them I think 1.5, 2K, but her business plateaued. And because she was too busy working in her business, but not for her business. So when we did the audit, the leads audit, right, we found 60K of sales that she could have closed. But because she was so busy doing everything else, servicing clients, doing everything else, she didn't know that. So she was like sitting on that for months and months and months. So like I said before, you might actually easily have 20, 30K right now, right? So instead, you keep going to chase, keep getting new clients, but you're leaking them, right? They're there, ready to close, but you're not closing them, right? So like a lot of people, she thought that she didn't have enough leads until we did the lead assessment, when we found, I was like, whoa, this is all the people, right? And this is all the people that you close. Why is that happening, right? Why is that happening? Let me see. Yeah, someone say my program is 3 months. Okay, yeah, 3 months is good. Cool. I call this proactive versus reactive, right? In your lead gen or in your sales. Proactive is like you're not chasing for the next sale, and you're not stressed, you're not worried, right? You're doing things. You know that you're tracking along, you know where you're at, you know the numbers, and you're tracking along, and you're not worried. On days, there were months, there could be months that it looks a bit slow, but you have all the strategy and how to catch up, and you're not stressed. Like, okay, if this doesn't work, I've got this to come in as a backup, right? I know what to do with it. And reactive, right? Reactive is when you only make enough, so you're reactive. You're always like, right? Okay, next client, more sales, more client, more launching, 5 launches, right? Not judging. Which camp do you think you belong in here? Reactive or proactive, right? No shame about that. We all have been there, right? I used to be reactive. A lot of my clients used to be reactive. Right? They just don't keep doing things, and like, oh shit, the month is, the month's coming in. So when you have when you have a plan, right, to get sales, you're gonna be proactive, not reactive. And getting clients is a numbers game. It's about the volume versus and time, right? What I mean by that is like, maybe if you get 10 leads, 100 leads a day, times, you do that for the next 30 days, I guarantee you, you will have sales, right? So if you're gonna go out and generate 100 leads a day over the next 3 months, you definitely have sales. So it's about like I said before, not thinking that, oh, I'm not confident, oh, my mindset is not ready. It's not about that. It's a numbers game. Knowing that is when I found out, when I look at that, I was like, fuck, hell, whoa, this is like mind blown, right? Someone say I am reactive. I'm working on being proactive. Yes, right. It's sometimes you can be in between, and it's good to actually, like I say, I want you guys to come off this session. Most important thing is to have that awareness. Like, am I proactive or am I reactive? Right? If you're reactive, how do I stop being so reactive? Right? Because when you're reactive, you're stressed. You're not doing things that are the best for you right away. You probably, not, you're not planning ahead. So relax like that. So someone say I'm too reactive as well. I guess, when you don't have a plan, like you can be reactive. If you have, let's say if you wake up tomorrow morning and you didn't know that you were going to the airport and you have to catch a flight in an hour's time, I think you're gonna be reactive. Okay, cool. So what happens, right? What does it look like? Right? So when you have a system to track your leads and plug the leak, right? You won't be so reactive. You know that, yeah, cool, I see these numbers coming in. And then you start to, your schedule will be filled with income generating activities. So these are, I call them income generating activities. I share with my clients I think about 12 of them. And you only need to do, you don't need to do all of them. I say, so that you don't get overwhelmed, you pick, only 2 or 3. And the thing is, when you have a plan, right, you know that which week of the month you should be generating sales, right? So you should be generating 60% to about 70% of your leads by the 12th or 13th of the month, right? This is why a lot of people didn't know that. They're like, oh, this is the 29th. I have no leads, right? And they hustle, right? They get like nervous, like, shit, I need to go and get those leads. Let's see who I can call. Let's who I can sign up, right? So this is why it creates overwhelm, right? It creates anxiety. You don't, like things that you don't need. We want for you a very clear plan that you're like, okay, I need know what I do, and I just go and do it, right? It creates that calm. It gives you that power back to know that, okay, I have control about this, right? If I haven't done 60% or the 70% by the 12th or 13th of the month, I know where to go back. I know what numbers to hit, right? So the other thing is that you need to be selling or generating leads every day, right? So things like maybe doing, spending time on Canva, fun, but they're not going to generate leads. If you're in a position to do to outsource that, I'll say outsource that, right? I know that for some people, maybe if you're beginning, starting, you may not be able to outsource everything, but try not to do it every year. If you can find a way to outsource that or do less of that, or just focusing on what to do. So this is why I share with you what are the things that you should not be doing, right? So with my clients now, probably in my one-on-one, we start using a monthly sales cycle, so that we know that where we are at with different stages with, so we have a clear plan layout every week on, what are of all the lead income generating activities that we should be doing. So we know, first week, this is the 7th of the month, where we at, what we should be doing. So we know everything, right? We know the sales cycle, where we are at with our sales, and what to focus on. That creates so much more calm, right? It takes away all the stress, right? What it means that you will have a schedule that you're only doing important things and you don't have to panic. So this is what happened to my client. She was she was busy doing all the things, not filling her pipeline, and getting really, really stressed. And then when we started putting in this system, right? We put the plan in, we put the system in. She knows that, okay, cool. If I hustle now, I know why I'm hustling. This is why people get demotivated. They stop working on things that they should be working because they feel demotivated. I'm doing this. It's so hard, right? When it's hard, because we humans, we like things easy, right? We want to be lazy. We want things to be fast and easy, right? People pay for that. So when it feels hard and stressful and difficult, you don't want to do that, right? And your mind goes into like, whew, I don't want to do that, right? So here. So yes, I'm redoing my office to organize and become more proactive. Absolutely, yeah. That is one thing they can do, like maybe doing up your office, get organized, and also having a plan, right? I'm all about having plans. So when you have a plan, you know what you're doing, and you don't have to deal with overwhelm. So you have a clear, actionable plan to get sales every day. So in this system, we have a strategy to get 50 to 100 leads every week with no ads. So you know how to get all these leads, and it's quite easy. And then when we get these leads in, we track them. Where they at? Who are these people? Where are they at? What are the likelihood they can buy from us? Which is also something that I am going to be, don't tell anyone, you guys are the first one to hear this. I'm going to launch a mini program called 100K Club, where it's for people who want a strategy, a lead gen strategy, and refocus on getting clients, because there are some people who maybe have done a lot of sales leads, and then they maybe get not very motivated at some point, right? So this is coming out. You guys are the first to hear about it. So what my clients love most about this framework and this system is that they can choose only 2 or 3 things of 2 or 3 income generating activities that they love, right? You don't have to do all 10 or 13 of them. I mentioned before, I was doing all kinds of things, 5-day launches. If you don't like 5-day launches, don't do them, right? Do what works for you, because when you focus on what works for you, what aligns with you, that's where your genius is. That's when you perform, right? That's where you get results, right? Let me know in the comments if you guys, drop one if you think that doing things that you enjoy will help you go get where you want to be faster. I know that in business there are things that we do that we don't enjoy doing, right? So we can, the thing is, we get better at that, but we also want to do things that we enjoy. So there were like 2 or 3, like I say, there are like 12 or 13 things in that list of that my clients can do, and they pick only 2 or 3 of them to do every day, right? When they don't want to post content, they don't have to post content. I know that content is something that not everyone get good at the beginning. So this is why I upload that, upfront, right? I preload that this system so that don't have to do that. Because when you have good messaging, right? When you have your messaging is on point, your content is on point, but nobody's watching them, nobody's reading them, what's the point? When you have this is what I call having a party. You have a party, like good food, drinks, all the alcohol, all the amazing food, but you forgot to send the invites, so nobody comes to your party. So what happens to all the good food and drinks, right? They'll be wasted. You're gonna have to toss it out because no one's there, right? So yes, someone say yes, it can be uncomfortable at first. Everything that you start doing in the beginning, like tracking sales, right? Tracking all this, it might be like, whoa, you look at all these numbers, right? Or doing things for the first time can always be intimidating, uncomfortable, confronting, right? But the thing is to slowly do it in small bits, do it in bite sizes. This is what I do with clients. They do it in bite sizes so that, it's easier. They become better at it and faster, right? It's about compounding, right? It's about compounding your skills and your time, so that over time, in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you get better at it, right? It's not about go from 0 to 100, right? But there are certain things like you're plugging the leaky system, is you can go from 0 to 100 if you know where that leak is. So the next thing that she did was, we call it the increasing the client lifetime value, right? And also decreasing the cost per lead. So why is this, right? Drop me in the comments. Say one if you know if you're familiar with these terms, like client lifetime value. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are familiar with it. I've done marketing all my life, so yeah. Okay, so it's easier and more profitable to increase your client lifetime value, right? Versus acquiring new clients every time. The reason, one of the reasons is that because past clients, right? Yes, familiar, yes. Yeah. So how do you increase your client lifetime value, right? You increase it by repositioning your offers, right? Then maybe clients who have bought certain things and they never used it. Well, I'll go into more details soon about that. So when you do that, you will have new offerings by increasing the value of your offer. And when you do all this, when you increase your client lifetime value, you decrease the cost of acquisition, right? You do less onboarding because you have repeat customers, right? You don't need to onboard them every time, and you have resources that you can reuse again. The resources could be certain things that you're like already doing, but go in depth into doing it, right? Or you can have less resources and you can hire less people to do it, and also decrease your marketing costs. That means when your cost per acquisition is high, your profit is lower, right? Than when your client lifetime value is high. So how do you do this? So my client, as I mentioned, was doing all these packages. They were all wrongly positioned. They were like chunky, right? Very information heavy, very long commitment. They were like, you sign on a contract for, this like, I think 6 to 12 months. It was like, all these clients come in, they're like, okay, cool. They sign on the contract. They never do anything about it because they were like, well, I have 12 months to do this. Similar to what happened to the course I told you, I was like on it for 12 months. It was like, it was going on and on and on. And I was like disengaged because I wasn't getting value of it. But mostly because the program wasn't what I needed. But let's move on. So she was having all these packages, but they were wrongly positioned. It was good. It was really good. I look at it, it was really good. I look at it and I was like, what the? There's so much value you're packing in there. You're selling it for what? For $1,000. So what happens is the client got overwhelmed, right? They're not going to use it. They're not going to. So we broke it up so that it's easier to consume, and for them to get specific results faster. So you have all this, right? You're giving it. So she used my method. So we look into the program, what she has to offer, all her packages. We look at it and it's like, okay, this one comes down here. We split out certain things. And then this one is just too big. We break it down, right? So then we break everything down, reposition them because, they were like positioned to the wrong people. Some offers should be positioned at the the management level. Some should be positioned at the people who are doing that. So we did all that and then selling it back to her open warm leads, right? Clients, right? They were buying all this, right? They're selling it back to those people who maybe sign on for 3 months, 6 months, and then they left because they didn't, they found it too chunky, right? So all these leads that we found through our leads assessment. So think of your programs. If you have a 6 months program, 12-month programs, think of this as a one big ice block, right? If you have one big ice block, it's very hard to melt one. Imagine if you have a big chunk of ice, as tall as me or as short as me, right? It takes some time to melt all that ice, right? Or a mountain of ice, right? But if you break it down, right, ice will melt faster, right? Results will come out faster, right? It's just like a masterclass. When you break things down, I'm only showing you like the tip of the iceberg, but it's going to be easier for you to digest and you get results faster. Because like, okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. This is all things I should be doing, right? I should look at things differently, right? With great clarity, right? So I'm curious, what kind of programs, like how long is your program? Do you have like 6 months programs, 12 months? You probably have a lot of things that are too packed with value and you're underpricing them, right? So this is the other thing. I remember doing one program and the client, all I went in was like, I was trying to learn how to get more leads, get more sales, and all I got was like, double your price. I was like, what? I'm selling the same thing for double the price. How does that gonna work? It could work, but I found way better ways to do it, right? Ways to make people want it more. They want it consistently, and it's repeat. So, and I have another client who made 20K, I think more than 20K, 21 something, right? And in just selling mini offers. And I think her mini offers were like $200. And she got a ton of people going in there. And then what happens with all these mini offers is that people start buying, then they start, upgrading, right? They're like, oh, this is so good. This is fun. This is so good. And they keep upgrading to a 3K and 5K programs, right? So this is one of the ways that we got into, creating more offers, more value of every client. So one client that could have just spent the whole year $1,000 or $2,000 with you, now he or she is spending $5,000, right? This is more fun for you to do. And smaller programs are fun. Smaller offers are fun because the thing is, people want to buy because people want to, like, oh, this is fun, let's buy another one, right? So how many of you guys, right, have bought things that you probably wasn't thinking was like not high ticket items? They were like, you don't buy a new car every month, but you probably buy new shoes every month, right? So it's like that. So we buy, all the time, right? You learn that behavior and you feed into that behavior. So plus, these are great for repeat clients. So they keep buying, keep coming, and new leads because they can come in and buy something, because people are usually not going to go straight into something that costs $10,000, right? And they might be. I've been someone like that. And also for you as the creator, you can test out products. You can test out your products. If you don't like them, whatever reason, you find things that you don't enjoy, it's hard to do, it's hard to deliver, you're just like, okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to offer this for a couple of weeks, and I'm not doing this anymore, right? So instead of like dragging, I know a ton of people who have offered programs and like memberships. Nothing wrong with memberships, but then they're like, okay, people pay me for 12 months. What am I going to do? I just have to, keep working it, hack it out for the next 12 months until it's over, because they've paid me 12 months. So let me know in the in the comments, if you think that you can create something out of whatever that existing offers that you have right now. Cool. Right. So the next thing we're looking at is the conversion system. I call it the customer journey conversion system. This is one thing that is also really important, that yes, we also have to plug the leaky sales, and how do we plug that, right? So yes, so much. Yeah, Nicole, for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Who's still following along? Okay, we should be done far from this. I hope you guys are enjoying the less slides. It's still about 7 or 8 slides. Okay. So I want you to start thinking about your customer journey, right? So I have a question. I want to ask you guys, what's your favorite way to sell? How do you like to sell? Tell me in the comments whether it's DM, over sales calls, or whether you just buy a link. Depends, right? Let's say if you let's say a $500 offer. How would you like to buy? Do you want to get on a sales call for a $500 offer? No, I don't. Right? So your customer journey has to be simple and fast. Right? Fast. You have to be simpler and faster so that they get to you. Right? I call that the traditional thing that we have been taught. I've been taught. Right? Yeah, Teresa say no. Is it no to getting a sales call? I think that's what you meant. Like getting no for getting a sales call for $500. Yeah, item. I don't want to do that. No one's got time to go on a sales call. To be honest, I've got tons of clients who pay me thousands of dollars just on the DM, like send, pay, right? I don't want to get on a sales call. I just want to like send it. Anyway, so traditionally online, we've been taught like to do the 5-day challenge. Maybe sometimes some people do 7 days or 20, God knows how long, right? And then they do the challenge. After the challenge ends, they have to fill a form and then book a call, right? Or in a B2B, if you're selling B2B, right, business to business, it's even longer, right? You wait for the call, you wait for this, it's at least 3 times longer than the B2C model, right? So the traditional system that we have, that you see a ton of people have, is like the 5 days challenge, and they book a call and discovery call, whatever they call them, and then they get close. They close. It takes too long, right? You make your clients jump through too many hoops to buy from you. And what ends up happening? So if the traditional model of 5 days challenge is that you have 5, on the first day, all these people show up, right? Usually you only get about 30% or less of the people who sign up who actually end up showing up. So if you have 100 people signing up, you might get 20 people who actually would come into the challenge, right? So, and then by third day, right, that will be at least half of that, right? You drop half of it. So by the end of the 5 days, you hardly have anybody left, right? And then you need to book a call, they need to fill a form, right? Too long. The whole thing takes like a week, right? You don't want to do that. You want that to be fast, right? Cut that time. It's also very stressful, very exhausting, and very tiring, very resource hungry, right? You need to hire people, you need to do all kind of things. You're exhausted, right? Right? Who has done a 5-day challenge? I have. I don't do them. I haven't done any 5 days challenges like 3-4 years now because they're exhausting, really, really exhausting. So this is also what happened to me. I saw a challenge. I didn't really get onto it. I was like watching some of the videos, and then I'm like, okay. And then they have to wait. Then I check out, okay, book a call, but the calls were awful. Right, I have to wait 3 weeks to get a sales call after. So the whole time, I think 2.5 weeks, the whole thing takes 3 weeks to convert me. I'm like, I'm ready to buy. Can someone just tell me how to buy? Like I'm ready to buy. If someone just let me have a link or send me an invoice, if I could just have nobody was answering to anything that I was saying. Like no messages. I sent emails, I sent DMs, nobody was replying to me. Right. So I'm like, okay. Right. I have to wait 3 weeks. 3 weeks is a long time. If you make someone wait 3 weeks to buy from you, they will actually go somewhere else, right? Which I did. I didn't end up buying it. So Nico say I've resisted 5-day challenges. They look like a lot of work for very yes, exactly. Some people can do it very well. There are some people who do it very well and they have a whole system, but it's very resource hungry, right? And even though some people who have done it used to work for them, they're doing something else, right? It's very resource hungry and it's exhausting. So now, instead of running 5-day challenges, same with my clients, I don't do, instead of doing that, right? Because you lose 50% of the people by day 2 or day 3, right? So I close on DMs, and I find that closing on DMs depends on your style, right? If you like sales calls, go for it. But a lot of people are moving towards the sales DMs because they had very bad experience with buying on sales calls, right? So they could be who here. Tell me in the comments, share in the comments, how do you like to buy, right? So yes, so this is what happened to my client. So we take all of that because she used to have like, we just systemize her sales conversion system, right? So it used to be like book a call and all that. It was just it just takes too long, right? So we remove that, so that the reason is when you do that, right? If it's faster for you to convert someone, right? The chances of them converting and buying from you is higher. They don't wait. You give someone too much time to think about it, they don't end up making a decision. They take no action, right? Yes. Someone say, I prefer straight up buying. I know what I want and I just purchase. Exactly. I'm the type. I'm the same. I'm like, okay, this looks good. I have bought programs where it was like 5 figure and I've only followed that person for, I don't know, a week. And I've never been on a call with her. And I was like, okay, this feels right. I'll just buy it. Right. Yeah. Yeah, Erin says Zoom conversation. See them, feel their energy. Yeah, sometimes it could be that. If you have watched some videos or programs like that, if someone have watched a couple of your videos, sometimes they don't even need that. But yeah, that's just a matter of preference. Okay, so the next thing, right? After you've optimized your customer journey, right? You learn to nurture how people buy from you. How people buy from you, right? Because you buy how you want to be sold, right? If someone say, like, some people want to get on a call, that's fine, and that's how they want to be sold, right? They don't mind getting on the calls, or it depends on the value. If it's like $500, most people don't want to get on the call. Yeah, it depends on what I'm buying. Just from reading page, sometimes I just want to, yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's that, but you also have to start learn how to nurture how people buy from you, because traditionally, right, we teach the whole closing process is so long, clients jump too many hoops to buy from you, and they end up either not buying or they take too long to decide, and you lose a ton of sales there, right? High ticket clients, I know this from experience, from my own experience, from the way I buy and from the way my clients buy, is that high clients don't take a long time to buy. They don't buy like this. They don't buy like whole, they're not going to do a 5-day challenge and then decide to buy, buy. They see there's something that they like and they buy. They see something they like, they send a DM. I got clients who send me a DM like, oh, tell me about your program. Okay, when can I come in? I was like, okay, let's check I asked them a couple of questions. It's like, send me the invoice, send me the link, and then they pay, right? Full. They don't want a sales call, right? Sometimes some people might need that, and this is why the higher the quality of your lead, the less time you actually need to close them, right? So the more they're familiar with you, the warmer they are, the higher quality lead they are, they're more ready, they're waiting, they're ready to buy, right? Then you can just close them on the DMs. They just want to buy and no long calls. So the other reason is that they are bad people with a lot of bad experience with sales call, and they resist it, or they just simply don't have the time and they just don't want it. High ticket clients, they're like, no, I don't need it. It's fine. Okay, tell me how much it is. Send link, buy. So, and the thing is, selling in the DMs don't have to be icky. Many people feel icky because they have it done to them wrong, including myself. This is like what I said before, I don't teach any of my clients to do cold DMs, right? I do, however, have DM script that they use, right, to close clients who are warm. So I will custom some of that DM script so they know they can just use it and then just send it. It's very simple, but I custom them for some of my clients because it depends on the industry they're in. Because if you're a therapist, or you're helping someone with more personal issues, it will be, the language is a little bit different, so we do it a little bit different. So I do customize for my one-on-one clients. Whereas in my up and coming 100K club, that I'm going to be launching this month will have the DM script where it's still customizable, very simple, and you can customize it to your own niche, right? So if you want that, send me a DM about, if you want any info about the 100K Club, send me a DM, just DM me 100K. I'll send you some info when they're ready. So, okay, so what's your biggest takeaway today? What's your biggest takeaway? So 3 things, right? 3 things why you're not hitting your income goals is that you don't have a lead gen system in place. A ton of people don't have that. It's not only you. The sooner you realize it, the sooner is that you're not going to do this, and that then they have not enough leads or low quality leads coming in. When you don't have a lead generation system, leads that are coming into your work, right, they'll be of lesser quality, right? And then, and the third thing is having a clunky sales process. A clunky sales process where you're leaking leads all the time, right? So if you think about it in a funnel, right, in the shape of a funnel, when you don't have a system to capture all these people, then then they come into your world, they're like not warm, they will have sales objection, and they're not ready to buy. And then it doesn't, and if you have a leaky sales process, and they keep going up. So what you're going to do is like you keep working and working and working, and you just don't see where is the result. Why are you working all these hours, right? And you don't see the results. So share with, I'll love to hear from you guys, what is your biggest takeaway of all these things that we talked about today? What is your biggest takeaway today? So I need to create my plan, create expectations, lead gen, sales funnel with the right clients, and all this will stop wasting time. Exactly, right? That's a thing that I've learned a lot, right? When a lot of people with getting to their first 100K is super hard because they don't have the resources. So you have to do a lot of things yourself, right? You may not have a sales team, you may not have a very strong process and system going on. But you have to do a lot yourself. So when you have to do a lot of yourself, you have to focus on the things that are working for you, right? That are going to get biggest results. This is good, beautiful, right? Aaron said, I don't have to follow the standard plan, right? The standard plan of like, doing the same thing, right? Every 5-day challenge, the long process and all that, right? What else? What's your biggest takeaways? Cool. So any more questions? Right? So lots of great questions and takeaways from today. And if you want more clarity on how to implement what we learned today, I'm going to open 2 spots to see how you can bring more clients, like, and if you want to find out about my one-on-one or 100K Club that's coming, or any of the programs, if they're right fit for you, I can drop the link after this so you can book it. So I'll see if it's suitable for you. We're gonna invite and get on the call if there's a best option for you. If I realize that that's not the best option for you, I probably won't have the call. So, but I'm gonna drop the link if you guys want to book that call. I don't normally do free one-to-one calls at all. So this is one-off. This is insane value. But yeah. So if you guys feel like I don't know what it is, right? Whether what help that I need, which part that, if I need more help in one-on-one or whatever, you guys can grab the link. I'll post it in the comment. Put in a comment and I will post it. And if you want to hear more about the 100K Club that's coming, put 100K in the comment and got on the list. We'll send you some info when it launches. If you're on the list, you get VIP support as a bonus if you are already on the list, right? When you buy, right? So we're gonna double check who's already on the list, and they get that extra bonus if you're already on the list for that VIP support. If you get on the wait list, right? Yeah, cool, awesome. Yeah, thank you, everyone. So yes, if you feel that if you feel that okay, not sure, which of this works for me. If my business is ready, you can book a call with me. I'll go through the few questions that you can fill up and can look at it. And sometimes if I feel that you're not ready, this is not none of this is great for you, whatever reason, I'll just don't be offended if I don't book book the call in. But if you think that there is something that I can help you with after what we've went through today, whether it's the lead gen, getting more sales, clients, or um, or get your messaging, I'll put the link in there, and you guys can book. Let me see. I'll just drop the link in here. Okay, I'll put this in shortly. Cool. Nicole say, love to hear about the 100K club. Yeah, cool, awesome. Yeah, I'll send you some info. I'll put you on the wait list and give you some info when that comes. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy this. And yes, keep coming in. If you're watching this replay, keep telling me what's your biggest takeaways. And thank you, and have a lovely day. See you soon. Bye.